And for further analysis, we are now joined from Barcelona by Director of EU ASEAN Centre and former World Bank advisor, Mr. Meher Nicolas Ferzili. Welcome to Qnews Economic Bulletin, sir. Sir, how do you assess the current state of the French economy in light of recent market slumps and political uncertainties?
I'm delighted to join you today. It's complicated because I think you have three crises converging or happening at the same time in France. You have a financial crisis, etc., the budget deficit. That's financial crisis. It's linked to the bond market, right? These are the debt instruments issued by the French government. So this is financial. Then you have another layer or pillar or dimension, which is political. The government of the Macronist bloc is shrinking by the day. They're losing MPs and senators every week, and they're on the verge of collapse. So before collapsing, the Prime Minister, François Bayrou, who is a political ally of Macron from a smaller Catholic, he announced 2 days ago that he was going to trigger a vote of confidence, in his case, a vote of no confidence, very likely, in French Parliament on the 8th of September. And the outcome of that vote, unless a miracle happens, is known in advance on the 8th of September at midnight, triggering a political constitutional crisis. And there's a third layer, which is, the morale of French public opinion and the morality of French politicians. In both cases, they are collapsing. So all that put together, financial, political, public opinion, and morale.
Sir, the political level, sir, why are the MPs, why is French President Emmanuel Macron losing MPs at this point? And of course, on the moral, why is the public opinion collapsing? Of course, financial, we do understand economically what's going on.
Good question. So it is in a way the
Thank
end
you.
of the road for Macron and his party. And it's the consequence with a 1 year delay of a big mistake. So 1 year ago, 13 months ago to be precise, thinking he was smart, even though he had a big majority in parliament, Macron gambled and he dissolved parliament 13 months ago, calling early legislative parliamentary elections, which he lost. But he did not lose completely. That was 1 year ago. Adding bits and pieces of centrist, center-right, political party, what's left of them, he was able to build a small, fragile coalition 1 year ago, and he brought François Bayrou as prime minister. And since then, he was never able to, the French government was never able government for the past 13 months with a rather thin majority from the start. So at the beginning, we knew the majority was rather thin, and by the day, he lost the support of a few MPs and senators, and he made, many wrong decisions. So to make a long story short,
okay,
now
sir,
it's the
what
end of the
about the
road
morale of the public opinion? Why is it, sir? Why is it collapsing at this point?
Because there's this mismatch between the French constitution. So France is governed by something called the Fifth Republic, which was drafted by my friend, Michel Debré, actually, whom I knew when I was young. It was drafted in 1958-59 by a great public law scholar named Michel Debré, who was an advisor to President Charles de Gaulle. So that constitution was made for the very particular kind of French system. You can call it a nationalist French Republican system. And today, that constitutional law, the Fifth Republic, doesn't fit anymore people like Bayrou or Macron, because people like Bayrou and Macron, they don't have the caliber to operate under that very demanding sort of French Republican, patriotic, nationalist system. And the EU Commission, year after year, the EU Commission has been in destroying French constitutional law. So year after year, the EU Commission in Brussels, they are stealing away legal prerogatives and executive power and legislative power prerogatives of the French. They're stealing them in a way from Paris and transferring them to Brussels and Berlin. So all that put together, now the French public opinion, they're realizing that, something is wrong. Important policies which matter for the French people are no longer decided by Macron or by Roux in Paris. They are decided in Brussels and Berlin by the European Commission. And the French are realizing that because there is an economic and social crisis. So, if the economy is doing well, you don't care as an average, French voter if big decisions are made in Brussels, Berlin, or Timbuktu, right? But if the economic situation is bad, which is the case today, then you say, oh my God, we have lost our sovereignty. We, the French voter, we, the people, can no longer decide our own fate. All the major financial, economic, fiscal decisions are made by the likes of Ursula von der Leyen or NATO or whatever, but we, the French, are losing our sovereignty. So all that is happening at the same time, and this is why public opinion is very angry at Emmanuel Macron.